Hello everyone and welcome to my art journal. As you can see, we've already got some stuff going on here on the page, but to be honest, I wasn't enjoying what I'd done. It didn't feel like it was coming together, so I thought I would just paint over it basically. And I wanted to do something different today. I normally start with collage on a page, that's very common, or I might start with a bit of writing, some journaling. Today I thought I'd start with paint. I don't normally get my acrylic paints out very frequently, and if I do, I normally make collage papers rather than going directly into my journal, but I've seen a lot of artists create these kind of blocked in colours and then work over the top of them with mark making or words or a bit of collage. And so I thought it'd be interesting to just try a different recipe today and start with just laying down some areas of paint. And I've already decided that I didn't like the tone of the blue that I put down, so I'm just adding some gesso just to lighten up that blue colour more to the shade that I like. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Jenna and I love to play in my art journal, but most of all I love to create as a way of spending time with God. I'm a Christian and this is my way of praying and meditating, being in God's presence, listening to God and seeing what He has for me today. So that's what we're going to do. And the context for today, in terms of where my head is at, I have just dropped off one of my children who is sitting an exam. It's actually just a mock exam, a practice exam. She's studying for the 11 plus to go into grammar school. She's only 10, bless her, and she's been amazing. She's worked so hard without much motivation from me whatsoever. She's very self-motivated, she's very smart, but she'd never done an exam before, and I dropped her off and she was obviously nervous and worried about it. And as I walked away, I felt quite emotional, really. I just felt, oh, poor little thing, she's not very old and she's going into something that is big for her and stressful. And I just felt a twinge, just as a mum, just identifying with her feelings in that moment. And there's not a lot you can do really for your child in that situation. Before I dropped her off on the journey over there in the car, we chatted together, we talked about bravery, and bravery not being the absence of fear, but feeling the fear and doing it anyway. So I reminded her of that, and I also prayed for her. That's always something we can do, isn't it? As Christians, we can help whoever it is who's feeling nervous to remember that they have a Father in heaven who loves them, who wants what's best for them, and that it's all going to be okay because God has her best interests at heart. And as I was praying for her, this verse came into my mind, which I read out to her. It's from Isaiah 26, verse 3. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast, because they trust in you. So, as you can see, it doesn't take long before I've got my collage papers out and I'm in my happy place, just tearing up bits of paper and playing with them, arranging them on the page. I just find this really just fun and meditative, and I might look like I'm kind of overthinking it, but I'm not really kind of thinking at all, really. And that frees my mind up, and just to pray and meditate. And I'm just praying for my daughter at this point, and just praying for God to be with her, to give her his peace, for her to just put her best foot forward, to stay calm, and to know God's presence with her. I've got one of my new stencils out now. It's got lots of numbers on it, all kind of jumbled up. And stenciling is a really good way of kind of blending together elements on your background. You can do it straight over the top of your paints and your collage, and it just adds another layer to bind everything together. I think I chose this stencil because of all the kind of jumbly numbers just represented for me that anxiety, I suppose, that whatever the opposite of peace is, that kind of intrusion of 100 different thoughts and worries and fears into our minds that we so often fall into as human beings. But what if this, and what if I don't pass my exam? What if other people are better than me? What if my pencil breaks? And what if I need the loo? And what if I forget what I've learned about algebra? We're plagued with 100 different worries and fears in any given situation, and I think these kind of jumbly numbers reminded me of a head full of worries. Right, now we've got our kind of confused and worried background, it's time to bring in the peace. And I don't know if you've got the same kind of fascination with these as I have, but I love these paint chips. And I happen to have one here in a lovely peaceful blue colour. I've also got this little embellishment that I made. It's a little collaged disc. I've made several of them. I might do a video on that in the future. Stick a comment down below if you would like to see me making these little circles. It's just really fun to have some ready-made kind of embellishments that you can use to add a focal point to your journal page. And I also want to add some words, so that's what I'm going to think about next. I have a whole stack of words here that I have printed out. Some are faith related words and others are just common words. Just a really good selection. And what I like to do is just go through the stash and pull out any words that jump out at me along the theme of what I'm thinking and praying about at the moment. And so that's what I'm doing here. And once I've got my little stash of words, I play around with arranging them into phrases and sentences that seem to make sense to me. This is a bit like, I don't know if you had those magnets with words on your fridge poetry. It's exactly the same idea. I'm kind of making a little phrase or poem that has meaning to me in relation to what I'm praying about. And then if you need any extra words or little connecting words, you can always use a little letter stamp like I'm doing now to create those. So now it's time to stick it all together. I have decided to also add that Bible verse from Isaiah that I was talking about earlier, about keeping us in perfect peace if we trust in God. And so I'm cutting that out of an old Bible that I got from a charity shop, and I'm going to stick that on my page as well. My little poem ended up reading like this: The magic of holy courage. Stand together, beloved, and trust. So this for me is about an approach of how we deal with difficult happenings in life and how we encourage others, perhaps our children and loved ones, to do the same. We need holy courage. So we need not just any old courage. Any old courage can get you into trouble, can't it? Because we can do things that we're not meant to do and end up hurting ourselves or ending up getting ourselves into a bit of a pickle. But holy courage that comes from God when we seek Him, when we fix our mind on Him, doing something righteous, doing something that we feel called to, is the kind of courage that is magic and can give us the power to face difficult things. Stand together, beloved, is about us supporting each other as a family, me supporting my daughter, but us supporting each other as a family of Christ. I think God was reminding me that that's enough sometimes, just to stand with another person as they face something bravely, just to be their friend. And it doesn't have to be about making it all right. I don't know if anybody else has that as a mum. You kind of want it all to go away for your children, and everything to be okay, but they're going to face hard challenges, and sometimes it's okay just to stand with them through it, that they know that you're there for them. And my daughter is beloved not just because I love her, we love her as a family, but because she is God's beloved, and you are God's beloved child. Whoever you are, that's who you are. That is your identity, and we need to trust. That's all we can do, is trust that God will be with us, and will lead us into what good things He has in store for us. That might not be what we have planned, but that's His best plan for us. I'm sticking down the last little bits now. I'm sticking down my little collage disc embellishment. I'm using a glue called Fabri-Tac, which is great for sticking more difficult things down, like fabric and metal and things that a glue stick doesn't quite work for. And I've also had the idea at the 11th hour that I could make this paint colour swatch into, rather than just sticking it down, I could make it into a pocket. So I'm adding the glue just to 3 sides of the cardboard and leaving one side open, which will allow me to tuck something in behind this, as you will see in a minute. I love the idea of a trust pocket where you can tuck in little photos or little bits of journaling or anything you like, really, to represent things that you want to give up to God, that you want to give to God and say, God, I trust you with this person. I trust you with this event. I trust you to take care of whatever this thing is that I'm worried about. So this is a nice kind of little ritual that you could do to help you with that. I've got a photo of our family, so I'm saying, Lord, I trust you with my loved ones. And I'm just adding a little bit of collage paper to the back of this because part of it sticks out, and I just want it to tie in with the rest of the page. You don't have to do that, that's entirely optional. But the idea is that whatever it is that you need to trust God about, you could write it out on a piece of paper or find a picture in a magazine to symbolize that, whatever it is, and then tuck it behind your piece of cardboard or your little pocket that you've made on your page. So thank you for joining me today. If you've enjoyed this idea and it's inspired you, please like this video. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Do subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. That really helps get the word out about faith art journaling. And if you would like to dig deeper into this idea of spending time with God in your art journal, I have a really comprehensive online course to get you started. It's called Wild Art, Deep Faith, and you can find out all about it over on my website. What if your creativity could be a way to connect with God? So many people like me get excited about paint, pretty paper, colour and texture, but at the same time might really struggle with their prayer life. I'm here to teach you how to harness the art and craft that you love as a pathway to the intimacy with God that you long for. I'll show you that art journaling is an easy, fun and freeing way for people of all ages and abilities to express themselves in prayer and worship. Your creations don't have to be pretty or finished or for other people. You will learn to enjoy the process, and I'll even explain how you can use this process to listen to what God might be saying to you. Join me for an amazing adventure into wild art, deep faith.